answering fantasy questions. We're ranting about what's going on after week 4 Sunday of the NFL. I was just talking about how the Patriots are closer to draft than Super Bowl contention, rebuild time in New England. But all the Tom Brady believers, all the ones who said it was Brady, not Belichick, you're having your day, you're having your year, you're going to end up having all time to make the argument that the player made the team, not the head coach, because Belichick is failing so hard right now. And Mac Jones, he's part of the problem, but it goes much farther than that. Trevor, Russ still getting disrespected with top 5 stats. Trevor, if you watch Russell Wilson play, he deserves the disrespect. I think there's so often stats lie. Stats actually point us in the wrong direction. Stats don't tell the true narrative. Russell Wilson has looked better this year. I'll give you that. He's looked much better. But there's still a lot of times in which Russell Wilson looks like a chicken with his head cut off being chased by defensive linemen. Now, maybe that's the offensive line of the Broncos, and maybe I'm putting too much blame on Russell Wilson. But there are times where he does not look like a good quarterback either. So the stats may back it up, but he's also played some bad defenses and taken advantage of it. So I'm not necessarily going to give him too much credit there. Carson, thanks so much for joining the team. Great to have you as a member of the team. Fire away with your questions. Great to hear from you, Carson. I'd go, okay, here's what's tough. Daniel Jones is facing the better defense, but Daniel Jones historically poops his pants in primetime games. Daniel Jones is known as a pants pooper in primetime games. So if I had to go in any direction for this one, I'd go Geno Smith tonight. Geno Smith making the emotional return to MetLife Stadium, to the Meadowlands. I think Geno Smith plays a smarter game, a much better game. The run defense of the Giants is bad. The run defense of the Giants is bad. So I think Kenneth Walker III is going to have a really good night. I think that allows Geno Smith to use the play action and then go find Lockett, go find DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and the rest of the crew. Lewis, Pacheco, and Kirk for Monty and Collins. It's a fair trade. I think it's a fair trade. I don't necessarily know. I think I might go Montgomery and Collins right now, but it's super close. Lucas Maggio, it's a very fair trade. Daniel Jones or Tutu, I got you on that. Holden FN, I got offered Walker, Jacobs, and Keenan Allen for Christian McCaffrey. Should I do it? Right now, I'm not giving up Christian McCaffrey. The dude is just incredibly valuable, and I'll keep him for now at least. Did anyone fall for the Kelsey TD prop last night? Arctic Tiger, I'm raising my hand. I had Travis Kelsey on an anytime touchdown, but I had bet that like Tuesday. I had bet that Tuesday or Wednesday when the moment I knew Taylor Swift was going to the game. So, Wizard of Oz, is it time to give up on Trevor Lawrence? I don't think it's time to give up on him because I still think if you're going to have 2 quarterbacks, and I think so often you should have 2 in fantasy to be able to rotate between them, Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good option to have. So, IP Shade 45, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Whatever that was cool. Thanks so much. Can you do a sub only before the game tonight? I feel like we're doing. I can, but I feel like we're doing our show right now. We're gonna let everyone get in on the action. I'm certainly gonna focus on subscribers more than everybody though. Jose, DK Metcalf anytime touchdown. I didn't take it. I'll probably be kicking myself, Jose. I hope you cash on it. But I took Walker and Lockett for anytime touchdowns. I also took Waller. I also have some player prop bets with Waller as well. So I have Waller in a number of parlays for player prop bets, receiving yards. So kind of need Waller to have a good night. Cam, do you think Jonathan Taylor plays this Sunday? I think he's going to. If he's practicing on Wednesday, I think he's going to play. Will he get the full number of touches? Probably not. They probably won't risk him coming back not having the number of reps and practice time, but poll's underway. We'll see who you guys think wins tonight. Drew, Darren Waller, anytime touchdown, Walker, rush yards. Love it. Drew, I have both of those bets. I have Waller, anytime touchdown. I have Walker over on his rush yards, so I'm right there on both of those. Dante, what's good? What's your take on MLB postseason? I honestly see the Braves making the World Series. Yep, I see the Braves. I'm sorry, I hate being boring, but I think the postseason is going to play out in the way everyone doesn't want to see it necessarily if you're not a fan of these teams. It's Astros and it's Braves to me. I feel like those are the two teams that know how to navigate the postseason the best. They're built best for the postseason, so it may be a bit boring, but I'll take the Braves. I'll take the Astros meeting in the World Series, and I just think the Braves are winning the World Series. They're a juggernaut. They have pitching. They have power. They have speed. They know how to win. I just think everything about them. They've got a good manager. I like everything about them. Lucas Maggio, Joe Burrow, or Russell Wilson from now on. Man, I'm not going with Russell Wilson from now on still. I still don't believe it. I think it's... Burrow's just not right. Burrow's just not healthy. I can understand. I wouldn't drop Joe Burrow. It's just tough. I can't quite mentally get there, Lucas Maggio. How about the Rays? I think the Rays are a threat, but I actually think the Rays have too many injuries in their pitching. Do you think Jameson Williams is worth a bench spot? Wizard of Oz, yes I do. Absolutely, yes I do. I think he brings a burner component to that team. You know what? I'm going to mention a different player, but it's under a similar thought. You know who really popped yesterday? Mechie of the Houston Texans. It wasn't Tank Dell, it was Mechie. And everyone kind of forgot about those two wide receivers out of Alabama. One, because he had gone through his own health scare, Mechie. I'm so happy he's healthy and back playing. And then Jameson Williams obviously had gone through the suspension, as well as an injury, I believe, as well. So the whole point is, we were talking a lot about them when they were drafted, and they've just kind of fallen off the radar. Incredible talent. He offers deep down the field speed. I love how he's going to pair with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He immediately becomes the second wide receiver on that team in terms of talent. Whether he gets number 2 targets, he'll probably earn that over time. But I'm really high on Jameson Williams. So Brennan Garcia, I think he is absolutely worth picking up. Do you like Jonathan Taylor or Travis Etienne more? I still like Travis Etienne probably a little bit more, at least for the foreseeable future, the next 3-4 weeks. Got offered White for Tank. Should I accept? I'd still rather have Rachaad White right now, especially with what he's showing in the passing game. He's showing he can be a nice weapon. Or should I trade Herbert and Tank for Jones? If you can upgrade to Aaron Jones, I would definitely do that. Oh, I'm missing some of these pinned tweets. If you could put that last one back up, I'd absolutely answer it. Sorry about that. Kingpin, looking ahead, should I trade Christian McCaffrey for Eckler and Cooper Kupp? Worried about a 2-week championship for McCaffrey. I like that you're looking that far ahead, but I'm not moving Christian McCaffrey right now, especially for someone who's injured and someone who's coming off of injury. Christian McCaffrey right now is the best football player offensively right now. He's spectacular, so. Brent, ETN or Mixon? More and more I'm leaning ETN, only because if Joe Burrow can't throw the ball, it means they're going to load the box more. It makes it just harder on Joe Mixon overall. As a Burrow owner, I'm in shambles at 2-2. Should I trade for Lamar? Yes, if you can. Rob, did you change your name? Did you change your name, Rob? This is shocking. This is breaking news. Arctic Tiger, with the Seahawks defense injuries, lean towards Giants having a good night. Arctic Tiger, here's the issue. I both agree with you, and yet at the same time, I don't trust Daniel Jones in prime time. People talk about Kirk Cousins in prime time. Daniel Jones makes Kirk Cousins look like Tom Brady in prime time. Daniel Jones is awful in prime time. So I'm with you in terms of numbers, but in terms of outcome, I don't know if I'm there. B. Wong, can anyone tell me if this is a good trade? I sent away Puka and got Cooper Kupp in return. Is this a win or a loss? I think it's a TBD. I think we don't know what Cooper Kupp is right now. Overall, I think that it is probably going to be an okay trade because I think Cooper Kupp comes back and is the number 1 wide receiver. But right now, you are trading the hottest hand in the NFL in Puka, so kind of tough. Saul, best player prop bet for tonight? I'll make this my Sharps play of the day. Appreciate all of you guys being with us. Hope you guys join us every single day. Of course, I give out my bets every single day on the Sharps app. So if you guys want my bets every single day, make sure you DM me on Instagram. Buttfumble Sports on Instagram. DM me on Instagram. Buttfumble Sports on Instagram. And I will give out my favorite bets every single day. Every single day. This is going to be my Sharps play of the day. This one that I'm going with right now, I mentioned it a moment ago. I'm going with Kenneth Walker III, going over his rushing yards total. I'm going to check to see what we've got on it right now, because I'll take it at what it currently is. I know I took it earlier in the week at another price, but let's see what it is right now. Kenneth Walker III. I would take that at 64.5. I take the over 64.5. I feel good about this. Giants have been really bad against the run, so over 64.5 rushing yards, and I'd be getting that at minus 105. If you want the alternative line, 59.5 is a great play. 59.5 is a Sharps play of the day specialty right there at minus 158. Minus 158. Really like him tonight. Kenneth Walker III. That's my Sharps play of the day. Adrian, what do I do with Zach Moss? Really tough spot. Maybe you can offer him up in a trade. Maybe you can maneuver in a trade to try and give him up. So maybe it's time to offer him up in a trade. I tried to guess the final score tonight. $1 to make $230. I feel like if you had put your dollar in a vending machine, it would have come out with better results. But ultimately, it's your money. Have some fun with it. Ben Golden, I trade Jones, Waddle for Saquon, Evans. I already have McCaffrey and Taylor. I'd rather have Jones and Waddle. I'd rather have Jones and Waddle right now. Chris B, Giants plus 2.5. Thoughts or a trap? I think it's a bit of a trap. I'd like the Giants if I took it at 3.5 more. 4.5 definitely. But I'm a little bit worried about the 2.5 actually. Because I could see this being a field goal game, and then you're on the wrong side of the field goal. Bill Robinson, Breida, over 60.5 total rushing yards. I think it's going to be the passing game that actually is a bit more effective. I would lean slightly towards the under, I think. Jules, I have 4 good running backs. Do I trade Pollard for Diggs? Sure, that's not a bad trade. I love Pollard, so I don't know if that's the one I'd want to give up, but I like the idea of getting Stephon Diggs. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. We are live every single day talking fantasy football, sports betting, everything that you guys need to cash in on the action of the day. So we have playoff baseball tomorrow. We'll obviously talk about that tomorrow. But if you guys do have questions about it, fire away. And of course, here to help you guys out for Monday Night Football, our Monday Night Football pregame show rolling on. But make sure you guys, no matter the platform, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, make sure you hit that follow button and make sure you're with us every single day. It's so great to have you guys as part of the show and the community. Diego Gonzalez got offered White for Tank. Like I said, I'd rather have White. I would take Jones over White. I would take Jones over White the rest of the season. That's correct. I did 24-13 Seattle. What do you think the chances are of that happening? I don't give it a high probability, but I'm certainly rooting for you. Could I see it? Yes. But I don't want to give you false hope. Tenet, do I trade Kittle for Ferguson? I'm okay with the trade. I'm seeing Ferguson just getting more and more involved in that Dallas Cowboys offense. Landon, any chance Waller has 28 points? No, I think his ceiling is probably closer to 18, 17, but 28 points, Landon, I think that'd be asking a little bit too much. Maybe if you're in a PPR league, maybe it would be a miracle. Jules, I have Swift, Achan. Oh, Seahawks the heavy favorite in our poll, not surprising. Jules, I have Swift, Achan, Montgomery. Also, so I traded Pollard for Diggs. Okay. I mean, you're one injury away from trouble, but I like it. I think it's a good idea, the way you're putting it together with your team. So, yeah, I do like it. Daniel, Matt Canada stinks. He needs to be fired. I'm normally not one who calls for someone's job, but Matt Canada is not living up to the idea of, you would like to believe that the 32 best play callers in the world are in the NFL. That's not the case. You got to believe, though, that maybe the top 50, the top 100, maybe the top 250. But Matt Canada right now is not in the top 1,000 in terms of play callers. The dude sucks at his job. He doesn't deserve it. So, yeah. Do you like either of the kickers over 1.5 field goals? I could see both going over 1.5, I'm honest, but I'd probably say I prefer probably the Seahawks kicker to get the field goals. Braden, I need Kenneth Walker to get 9.5 plus for the win. Does he get it? I think he does, Braden. I think he gets you to double digits, and I think he gets you the win. Rooting for you, Braden. Riley Bartlett, do I trade Pacheco and Addison for Ridley? No. I know Addison had a terrible game, but I don't think Ridley is as valuable right now as those two players combined, so I'd rather have Pacheco and Addison moving forward. Love or Stroud, rest of season. You got to go with Stroud. He's proven it. He's younger, and yet he's proving more in the limited time than Love has. Puka for Chase. I like it. I would take Chase in the deal. I think Puka's value goes down a little bit, if nothing else, with Cooper Kupp coming back. But Jamar Chase and the Bengals are obviously a mess, so you do have to deal with that. Chris B. Do you like Walker over? Yes, I do. I like Walker over the rushing yards and the touchdown. I'm just not betting on Breida. I'm not betting him. I just don't want any part of that. I love the Chris Walker side. I'm not touching the Breida side. Josh Waldrop. Anyone else in here have Derrick Henry and DJ Moore on the bench this week, or just me? Ooh. I told you I like Derrick Henry this week. I told you I like DJ Moore this week. Josh, what happened? Did I tell you to start somebody else? Because Derrick Henry was a player I really liked this week. He was one of my favorite running backs. DJ Moore I liked as well. What happened, Josh? IP Shade 45. Wan'Dale Robinson over 2.5 receptions. I mean, I'll look at it, but IP Shade 45, you know what immediately comes to mind? Wan'Dale Robinson bets means, does somebody have a problem? That's not even coming up, man. Oh, here it is. 2.5 receptions. Do we have a problem? I mean, like, I don't like the idea of it. Over 2.5 receptions is a good bet. I'm not going to take it. It is a good bet. It's cashed in one game that he's played this year, so if you want to take it, but I'm not advising it. Does Waller go under 10 points tonight? No, I think he goes over. I think Waller gets to 10 fantasy points as well. Josh, I started Jacobs, K9, and Mostert. Yeah, I can understand. Okay. Wizard of Oz, I'm winning by 23. And my opponent has Jackson Smith and Jigba. Do you think I win? Yes, I do. I think you win. I stashed Michael Wilson last week. Do I start him week 5, or was the game a fluke? We'll dive into week 5 predictions a little bit more this upcoming week, Liz, but I've got to dive into his stats a little bit more to understand if there's long-term value. Faced someone with A.J. Brown, Mark Andrews, and Puka, lost by 6 and scored 217. Oh, that hurts. I'm so sorry, Cam. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's an ouch. That's for sure, Josh. That's an ouch. Adrian, should I trade Moss, Ertz, Hopkins for James Cook? You're trading 3 wormed riddled apples for one apple that also fell on the ground. I don't know if you're actually getting that much for what you're doing. Jay Rubin, I have Hurts and Tua. What running back and wide receiver could I target in the PPR league? Well, I'd certainly want to keep Hurts. He'd be the one I'd want to keep. When it comes to a running back, maybe you could literally swap out Tua for Achan, Tua for Mostert. Maybe you could swap them out and get a running back in that same offense. If you believe in the offense, you kind of want to own part of the Dolphins offense. Something I'm a big believer in. I want to own pieces of a top 10 offense overall. So, Hernan, I'm winning by 31 and my opponents had DK and Walker. Do you think I win? It's super close. The answer is I really don't. I don't think you win. I think it's so close. If you do, it's going to be by like a point and a half. It's close. Cameron, DK, over under 68 and a half. Let's take a look at that one. Let's look at DK Metcalf, 68 and a half receiving yards. We're going to use the Outlier app for that. Outlier is not a sports book, but it's a good tool to be able to look at trends, data, get a sense of where the best bets are. We're looking at his stats overall over the last 10. It's cashed 6 out of the last 10, 3 out of the last 5. If we look at it at home or on the road rather, 4 straight games. Cameron, you're in luck. This is a great trend. DK Metcalf has gone over his receiving yards total in 4 straight road games. Great trend. Something we really like. Something that's also of note. This line jumped. This opened at 60 and a half and jumped to 69 and a half. That just tells you that the sharp money came down on this. Definitely tells me that the over's a better play. Wish I had gotten it earlier in the week. If you can get it on the alternative line, 59 and a half. That's a great play. I'm going to put this one up on my board right now. That's DK Metcalf over 59 and a half receiving yards. I'm going to have to put that one in before the start of this one because that's a bet that we like at minus 182. Good find. Good find. Appreciate all you guys being with us. If you have not done so already, no matter the platform you're watching on, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Wonderful to have all of you guys with us, joining us every single day. Wizard of Oz, in my other league, I'm up 26, and I'm up against the Lockett and Seahawks defense. I think you should be okay in that one. It's close, though, again. It's about if Daniel Jones poops his pants or if he has a decent game. Yeti, Patrick Mahomes for Jacobs and Olave. Oof. I think I'd rather have... I'd rather have Jacobs and Olave because I can find another quarterback more easily. I just don't like it. I don't want to give up Mahomes, but getting a wide receiver 1 and a running back that has RB1, RB2, RB flex value, it's there. It's there. Tim Reams, Ridley, and Mostert for Devontae Smith and Swift. The only risk of it is you're just a little bit overloaded on the Eagles offense. I like Devontae Smith and Swift. I like that. Mostert for Robinson's interesting too. JP is 65.5 too high for K9. I think he can get to 70. So JP, I think you're okay. Cam Akers and Warren could turn into nicer options over time. They actually could be kind of nice plays over the next few weeks. Brent, I bought low on Jacobs this past week. I traded Brian Robinson and Swift for Jacobs and Lockett. Interesting moves, Brent. Interesting moves. I kind of like it. Posty, Geno or Jones tonight. I'm going to go Geno. I'm down 40 and also have DK going tonight. Just don't like it either way. Kingpin, I have Geno and Burrow. Should I cut Geno for Stroud? I think it has a lot to do with week-to-week matchups, but the answer is probably yes, because if nothing else, I think we're going to see Geno Smith continue to play a more conservative style of football, where C.J. Stroud is letting it rip. I mean, the dude is throwing it down the field, so it gives me a lot of hope that they're going to continue to allow him to have that kind of leeway and freedom within the offense. Lockett under 52.5 receiving yards. Sal, it's right on the fringes. let's do a quick research. We interrupt this conversation to do some research. Let's look at Tyler Lockett. Let's look at his receiving yards total. Appreciate all you guys being with us. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button. Make sure you're following Butt Fumble Sports as we are live every single day. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Weekends at 10 a.m. Eastern. Tyler Lockett, 52.5. The implied probability is the same on both sides. Let's look at this in away games. In away games, it's okay. In away games, it wasn't a great trend towards the end of the year. I'm going to say no. I'm not going to take the receiving yards. I do like him to find the end zone, but I wouldn't take the Lockett on receiving yards. I'm not telling you the under's a better play. I'm telling you I don't really like the bet. I just don't like the opportunity here. So overall, not one that I'm going to do. I'll just pass on it. Danny over 20.5 completions or 14.5 rushing attempts for Walker. I like the Walker one more. Top dog, Metcalf, over 4.5 receptions. Top dog, we'll look at it. Looking at DK Metcalf on receptions. Five and a half is the line now. The under, the alternative line. 4.5 over 4.5. You see what the trends have been over the last 10. And on the road, really strong. Again, DK Metcalf, 4.5. It's a good play. DK Metcalf, 4.5 receptions if you can get it. Over 4.5, really strong play. Just a good trend. A lot of green on the screen. Appreciate all you guys being with us. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. Do you like K9? I like K9 better than DK. Getting back to your questions over on TikTok. Kyle, trade Puka and James Conner for Wilson and ETN. I'd rather have Puka and James Conner, I think, just barely. Cotton Candy Fago. Sure, you can do that deal. NM5, I'd rather have Waddle. NM5, I'd rather have Waddle. Would I do 5.5? I think you could, but obviously it's not as attractive a bet. Should I trade Mostert? Simon to Chipmunk, I'd hold on to him. I wouldn't give him up that fast. Saul, so much, really appreciate it. Brecken, I can see your comments. Brecken, what's up? Something up, Brecken? You wanna say something? Lamar for CD Lamb. Bills Mafia, I like it. Matthew, can I start Puka and Cup next week? I haven't seen who they're playing yet, so I'll have to dive into the research first. IP Shade 45, Brewers or D-backs wild card game. I'm gonna lean towards the Brewers. I'll lean towards the Brewers for now, but I haven't gone into the data too much. In fact, let's take a quick look at that game right now. On first blush, I lean towards the Brewers. Interesting. The sharp money came down and kind of opened them up as the favorite. I like seeing that. Corbin Burns, starting pitcher. Fat. I go with Corbin Burns. I'd go with the Brewers. I like them tomorrow. I take the Brewers to win. Did you say you liked Etienne or Taylor more? I liked Etienne more. Brennan Garcia, I like Etienne more. Crispy, I do like Waller on receptions. However, the 4.5 might be a touch high. Quickly looking at that. Looking at Darren Waller on total receptions. 4.5 seems a touch high, right? I'd like it at 3.5. I wouldn't touch the 4.5. Wouldn't touch the 4.5. Joe, should I trade away Kittle and Stevenson or keep them? I'd still keep them. I think there's still value there. Brecken, up. Yeah, Brecken, I feel the same way. I feel like it's very, very close. I don't know if I have a strong feeling one way or another whether you're going to win or not. Nico, what do I do with Zach Moss? I think you hold on to him for the moment, but you're in a tough spot. Lethal Jake, stream Wilson, Dobbs, or Howell week 5. Lethal Jake, I'll get to week 5 tomorrow. I'm still enjoying week 4 for now. Paul Love, starting to lose faith in Ridley. He got you a touchdown this week. That's if that's the low standard, and against the Bills in London this upcoming week, I think he could have another good game without Tre'Davious White now in that secondary. TB, Ridley and Tank Dell for Waddle and Christian Kirk. Who wins? I'd rather have Waddle and Kirk. Waddle and Kirk. Season long, that is. Cameron is asking about Burns. I really didn't want to answer this question, but it was pinned, so I will. Corbin Burns. I just didn't want to get into MLB player prop bets right now. We'll do that in the show tomorrow. But over on strikeouts is a good implied probability. So there you go. Implied probability over on strikeouts is a good trend. So that is a really good trend. It's been a good trend in 5 out of the last 6 games that he's pitched. At home, hasn't been a good trend. That's the one thing of note. Hasn't been a good trend when he's pitched at home. So right now, again, it's just not one that I'm going towards, but there you go. There's some information on it. Need to drop one. Kincaid, Hunt, or Dell? Hunt. FBG. Drop Hunt. Matthew, can I start Puka and Cup next week playing against Philly? Yes. Yes, I do think so. Matthew, I do think you can play both of them. Trade T. Higgins? Yes, at this point I would. I'd move on from him. Worried about Debo and Olave performance? Not at all. Not at all. Not worried in the least. Nick, who wins this trade? Answered Matthews. Who wins this trade? Swift, Tua, and Tank Dell for Burrow and Eckler. Right now, Swift, Tua, and Tank Dell. Brett, should I trade Stevenson for Pacheco? I'm okay with it. It's a fair deal. Appreciate all those who are joining us. Make sure you hit that follow button if you have not done so already. Make sure you're a follower of Butt Fumble Sports. Up every time. Make sure you're a follower of Butt Fumble Sports. We are live every single day. So make sure you hit that follow button. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that follow button as we answer your questions. Let's do some rapid fire. Michael, who wins? Brian Robinson Jr., Elijah Moore, Deontay Johnson for Bijan. Guys, actually, no more pinning of the tweets, guys. No more pinning of the tweets. I don't want you guys pinning anymore. No more pinning for a moment, okay? Moderators, please. Thanks. Drop Burrow, Winter Soldier. I prefer to have him on the bench. I don't know if I want to drop him just yet. Cody, what value does Puka have at Y 1-to-1 for a running back? I think a Mostert is a fair deal. A Stevenson is a fair deal. A Dameon Pierce is a fair deal. Bears are a sorry-ass franchise. Josh, that is a fact. The Bears are such a mess they have the number 1 and number 2 pick for next year. Brecken, should the Bears start to panic? Thoughts on their future? They should panic, and they should panic in this way. They need to be willing to move on from Justin Fields now. Now. As crazy as that sounds, they need to be willing to move on from some players with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. and other pieces still down the road. If I were them, I would be faster to move on right now from so many players. But I'm someone who kind of cuts bait. I'm someone who's very fast to go, hey, if I'm not winning a championship and I'm not developing towards that direction, if I'm backsliding, maybe it's worth moving on from my quarterback. What could you get for Justin Fields right now? I'm serious. What could you get for Justin Fields from a franchise that needs a quarterback? Now, how many franchises need a quarterback? That's its own question, but just kind of an interesting one. Would you give up McLaurin and Dallas defense for Stephon Diggs? The answer is no. The answer is actually no. It's close, very close. If you really want it, I understand it, but what website do you use for your trends? It's called Outlier. Outlier's the website we use for the trends. Outlier's a great tool to develop good trends, good analytics, just to be able to study. If you want a link, DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram, So if you want to get a link to Outlier, just DM me on Instagram and I'll hook you up. You didn't... because it keeps jumping on me. Ridley and Gibbs for Adams. No, I'd rather have Ridley and Gibbs. Hayden, I'm not touching Breida's rushing total tonight. I'm not touching that bet. Nas, I haven't looked at week 5 yet. Mark, Mostert for Hall. I'd rather have Mostert. Michael, you didn't finish. Who wins? Brian Robinson, Elijah Moore, Bijan Robinson. Michael, Bijan Robinson just barely. Jose, isn't that crazy that they have the 1 and the 2 pick? Do you like Achan when Wilson returns? Yes, I do. Why? Because he's got amazing speed. And if there's one thing I know about Mike McDaniel, it's that he loves the speed that kid offers in his offense. So, yes, I do. Paul Love, Ridley for Waddle. I have Tua. Yeah, I'm okay with that deal. Mark, yep, we answered that. If you guys have questions, fire away. Here to answer all of them. Sports betting questions, fantasy questions, here to help you guys out. Lethal Jake, I've never made a bet because I'm in Washington State, but I live close to a casino where you can on the premises. Jake, maybe it's something to consider. Speaking of Jake, Kenneth Walker, 2 catches, 11 receiving yards. Yeah, maybe. Howard, should I trade Adams for Brown? Yes. Jahiki Howard. Yeah, I'd rather have A.J. Brown. Bear, Wiggy, Shiggy, Jiggy. I think that you're not going to win. Smirk, who's the best on the waiver wire right now? Well, I think C.J. Stroud, if he's still available in your league, C.J. Stroud has now sent a message that he deserves to be up there. I think Jameson Williams does register as an option now that his suspension is up. I know that he's on a bye week, I think, this week, but it still offers him the opportunity. Is he on a bye week? I gotta check. I haven't looked at week 5 yet. I'll admit I have not looked at week 5 yet. I've been still focused in week 4. So no, they're not one of the teams on a bye. So that's even better. Oh, he's going up against the Panthers though. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look at the waiver wire in my league and I'll tell you which players I like the most. I can't believe Brock Purdy's still available in so many of my leagues. That's kind of surprising. I think Brock Purdy's a good pickup. I think he's delivering week over week. Man, at the running back position, I mean, Devin Singletary is interesting, but I don't know if he can repeat that kind of success. Chuba Hubbard is interesting. There are not too many options on the running back waiver wire from what I see that I'm really liking. I'm not as big on Samaje Perine as some other people are. I told people to get Josh Palmer, so that one's already out of the bag. I like Darnell Mooney this past week. I don't know if I like him moving forward. Michael Gallup, you know, that Cowboys offense looking better by the minute. Romeo Doubs is still available in some people's leagues. Jaden Reed of the Packers continues to be someone who surprises people. And Marvin Mims at this point, Marvin Mims has been known for a couple weeks as being a really good play. If you guys haven't done so, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you're following Butt Fumble Sports. We're live every single day, so if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. We are live every single day for usually an hour, 2 hours sometimes. So make sure you follow us. Make sure that you hit that follow button because we're live every single day talking sports, fantasy football, sports betting, DFS. Our DFS lineup did cash yesterday. That was a nice thing. Brent, would you start Kyren Williams versus the Eagles even though he's got 30 plus on the 49ers? Kyren Williams is starting to show me that he is a solid play because he can get in the end zone. I'm not crazy about him going up against that Eagles defense. I told you guys yesterday how good it was, and they definitely showed it at times. But Kyren Williams getting in the end zone at this point is a pretty good play, so I'm not going to be too hesitant about it. I think I would probably get him in the lineup. Thoughts on Higgins? I think I'd trade him at this point. I think I'd move on from him. Hayden, is Jonathan Taylor going to play this week? If so, is he a start? I think he's going to play. His value's questionable, though. Josh Waldrop, should Puka be benched next week against the Eagles defense? No. I think that Puka should still play next week. Eagles give up a lot of passing yards, as we've seen multiple times. Alex traded Devontae for A.J. Brown and Mark Andrews last week. Now people are mad about it after this week. Thoughts? Yeah, I think you gave up too much, but that's okay. People can be pissed about it. That's their problem. Will JT play this week? Yes, I think he will. I do think he'll get on the field. Trade Montgomery for Ridley. I have Moss, Walker, Pollard, and Kamara. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I really like Montgomery. He's got a great offensive line. I'd rather move on from Moss. I don't think you have as much depth as you think you do, because Moss isn't going to be the same value if Jonathan Taylor comes back to any kind of consistency. So you're really only left with 3 starters. One goes down. Okay, now we're getting tight. So I wouldn't move on necessarily as quickly as you are. Drew, 73-82. Drop Michael Thomas for AR-15. I have Anthony Richardson. AR-15. Who's AR-15? Drew, who's AR-15? Drew, if you don't mind. Yeah, isn't he 5? Is Richardson 5 or is he 15? He's 5, right? Isn't he AR-5? AR-15? I don't understand. Anyways, should I start more? Josh, I'll get to next week tomorrow. We'll cover week 5 tomorrow. I'm not quite there yet. I haven't done my research yet. Carson, should I give Devon Achane a starting spot? Carson, again, I would have to look towards next week and kind of do a deeper dive on the matchups, and I'm not quite there yet. But I certainly like what I'm seeing out of his speed in that offense and how he's just being utilized. Really a positive sign overall. Would you trade Pacheco for Devontae Smith? Pens fan? Yes, I would. Pens fan 410? Yes, I would. I will say this. The Dolphins play the Giants next week, and the Giants are a bad run defense, so I do like Achane next week. Thoughts on the Taylor situation? Taylor Swift? I think it's good for the NFL. Do I need to trade for an elite running back? My running back room is Stevenson, Mostert, White, Gibbs, and McLaughlin. I think you have 3 running backs that are decent. I think Stevenson, Mostert, and Gibbs still have value. Bobby, Swift for Pittman. I'd still rather have Swift. Bobby, I'd still rather have Swift. Alex Silva. Raheem Mostert for Robinson. Okay, sure. I think it's probably closer to a wash than you'd like. Breaks and Lotto. Butt Fumble Sports. You already know our name. What can I get for Olave realistically? You should be able to get a pretty good running back. I think you should be able to get like a Mark Andrews at the tight end position, a TJ Hawkinson. So, Drew, thanks so much for the hot dog. Appreciate all you guys being with us. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you're following Butt Fumble Sports. We are live every single day across TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So make sure you hit that follow button. So excited to talk football with you guys tonight. Monday Night Football, Giants, and the Seahawks. Should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. JP, do you have any Giants player prop bets tonight? If you can get Daniel Jones over half an interception, I highly recommend it. A lot of sports books aren't offering it anymore. I certainly would take it if I could. I will say I'm taking the Seahawks on the money line tonight. Seahawks on the money line. That's going to be my game pick. Final score prediction for the Bengals. For the Bengals next week? Not quite there, Brecken. Not quite there. Starting JT on Sunday, I'd be a little bit hesitant. I don't feel great about it. Colts, oh, I definitely wouldn't do it. Colts are playing the Titans defense. They're really good. Steve, Christian McCaffrey came through for you. Would you trade Puka for Devontae? Yes, I would. Will Murphy, thoughts on Montgomery and Judy for Mixon and Godwin? I'd rather have Montgomery and Judy. Will Murphy, I'd rather have Montgomery and Judy. Thoughts on Eckler? When he's back, I'll like it, but I'm worried that the injury has delayed his return this long. Should I be worried about Evans' injury? No, what I'm hearing, it's no big deal. Jones under 20.6 fantasy points? I think so, but it's a little dicey. Seahawks defense has been bad against the pass. I could see him having a decent day through the air, so little dicey. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you hit that follow button. Brecken, why do you care about the Bengals' final score? Final record prediction. Final record. Right now, I feel like they're going to end up being an 8-win team. That feels a little low. I still think they can get to 9, but 8-9 sounds about right. Aiden Khan, bro, answer me. Where's your question? Rob, you changed your name, man. I'm not used to it. Aiden Khan, I literally haven't seen your question. So, if you contribute to the show, that's one way to assure that I always see your question every time. Pats, over under 5 wins. I think they go over. I could see them getting to 6 or 7, but it is disaster city there in Foxborough. Should I trade Sutton and Hopkins for Ramondre? I would, but maybe I'm overvaluing Ramondre Stevenson because right now he hasn't been playing well enough to really value, to make it worth that while. Herbert injury, no go for next week. Arctic Tiger, I still think he's got a chance to play. Thoughts on Burrow rest of season? My concern is now that at what point do they say we got to sit him to he needs to get back to full health? And at that point, when's he coming back? So I'm a little worried about Joe Burrow moving forward. Gavin, we're here to help. Peter M. I'm just not big on Campbell tonight. I'm not as big on Campbell. Look, I understand that I just said Daniel Jones and passing yards. I just don't trust the Giants. I know what the stats say, but I'm not going to put my money on it. So telling you guys a stat, telling you guys a trend versus putting my own money on it is different. Between Breida and Campbell, I'd probably go Campbell because the Seahawks have been worse against the pass than they have against the run. But overall, I just don't feel good about it. I don't want to bet on the Giants offense. I just don't trust it. Gibbs or Akers for week 5? Gibbs. Brian Robinson, Kelsey and Zeke for Cook and Ridley. I'd rather have Kelsey and Zeke. What do we do with Ridley? I still think he's worth playing. I still think he's good. This upcoming week, he's playing the Bills, but that's in London. I think he can get another touchdown. I still think there's value there. Liam, if you want to get your question answered right away, here's the fastest way to do it. Contribute to the show. I really focus on those who contribute to the show first, so I actually look for those questions more than anybody else's. So if you contribute to the show, easy way to make sure that you get your question answered right away. Michael, how do you think the Commanders game will go on Thursday? I think the Commanders are going to win. I've actually put into some parlays the Commanders winning. How do you feel about Christian Watson? I like him. I like Christian Watson. I think his return will get a little bit of help playing against the Raiders defense. Appreciate all of those who are joining us. Make sure you hit that follow button. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that follow button. We are live every single day. There is not one day that we're not live. So make sure you hit that follow button today. That way you never miss our show. You're with us every day getting this fantasy football advice, sports betting advice, and obviously getting the trends and data that help you cash in on this MLB, NFL, NBA when it starts action. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Need Seahawks defense to stay under 8.5 points. We'll see. That's going to be a little tight. Do you think Kirk keeps up the same amount of work? Yes, I do. Burner account. Derrick Henry moving forward, or should I trade him? I think it's week to week. I think it's so week to week based. Like this week against the Colts. I gotta see. I haven't done my stats. I haven't done my research. Chadster. First of all, the Panthers are a better pass defense than we expected. We're not doing pin tweets right now. We're not doing pin tweets right now. Addison, yeah, he got 0 points. I was really disappointed in that, in part because they just didn't target him enough. But Carolina Panthers are a better pass defense than people think. Will there be a field goal made in the first quarter? I will say yes. Drew, I will say yes, but what do I know on that front? Hard to say. Anthony, Russ or Goff next week? I haven't really done my research for next week. If I had to go in one direction, I'd probably go with the... I'd go with Goff. I'd go with Goff next week. Goff. Russ is playing the Jets. Kelsey for Brown and ETN. Lucas, yes, I would do that trade. Lucas, yes, I would. Lucas, I would do that trade. Thanks so much for supporting the show. Gavin, well, Watson kind of hurt you this past week. Gibbs hasn't done enough. So you have a good team, but they haven't delivered. Someone offered me Gibbs for Breece Hall. I got to do that, right? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Should I trade Kelsey for ETN and Cooper Kupp? I don't like it, but if you wanted to pull the trigger, I get it. I just don't like it myself. I'm goated. Should I? Yeah. It's a really tough question. As your RB2, I like it. As your RB2, I like it. I'm goated. Andrew, need 55 from Lockett and Geno. Is right. You got the Bill Belichick on the sideline face. Okay, guys, just a couple more minutes left of the show. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that follow button. We're live every single day, so make sure you hit that follow button today. Trade Pacheco for ETN, sure. Ridley, I'd keep him. Would you trade Swift and Boyd for Pacheco and Collins? Chico, yes I would. Nate, should I drop D-Hop for Wilson? Yeah, nah, I don't know. Steve, I'm winning by 38, but my opponent has Breida and Waller. I think you're going to win, Steve. Steve Suarez, I think you're going to win. We have been live for an hour, and that's going to be our show for tonight. I will be live later tonight, so if you guys want to talk some more, I will do a subscriber-only show later tonight. So if you guys want to join me later tonight, make sure you subscribe on TikTok. I will do a subscriber-only show later tonight. Probably talking waiver wire, helping you guys out with who to pick up off the waiver wire, and a lot more NFL Week 5. I'm getting the vibe that a lot of you guys are focused on Week 5. So we'll do that in a subscriber-only show tonight. So if you guys subscribe on TikTok, you could be a part of that show. So make sure you guys subscribe today. If you guys want all of my bets every single day, make sure that you DM me on Instagram, Buttfumble Sports on Instagram. Make sure that you DM me on Instagram if you want all of my bets every day. My parlays, my game picks, my player prop bets, everything that I put out there is available on the SHARPZ app. You can follow all of my plays on the SHARPZ app. All you have to do to get all of them, DM me on Instagram, Buttfumble Sports on Instagram. That way you can get every bet that I make every single day. It is so wonderful to have you guys with us every day. Make sure you guys are hitting the follow button. Make sure that you're a follower. That way you never miss our show. I will be live for subscribers later tonight. I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I will talk to subscribers later tonight on TikTok. So make sure you guys are subscribing tonight. I'll catch you guys a little bit